Snow White 2025. Listen, based upon past performance by Disney, it's no surprise that I wasn't going to enjoy this movie. But the fact that a gaggle of young women walked out 20 minutes before it ended when I went to see it should give you an indicator of what we're dealing with here. This movie had no soul, direction, or reason for existing. And when it comes to understanding the story or the characters, I'm pretty sure that the people who made this film took their inspiration from just about any source they could find, except Disney's original Snow White. I was going to say that at best they took their inspiration from the Snow White ride in Fantasyland, but that wouldn't be fair because that 2-minute long ride is truer to the source material at its core. This movie added so much nonsense, so many unnecessary characters, motivations, and distractions that I was sure they were padding for time, but the original was only 20 minutes shorter than this version, despite this version feeling like it was 3 hours longer. A painful 3 hours at that. Was the acting mostly hollow and stiff? Yes. Was the CGI mostly terrible with hints of the uncanny valley? Also yes. Really, the list of things that were wrong with this film are longer than I can quickly recount. But the part that was most jarring for me was the notion that Snow White wasn't just allowed to be Snow White. No, she had to girl boss too close to the sun, even managing to talk down the palace guards tasked with ending her life by uttering a patented "you need to do better, Senator" speech wrapped in the cliche of sharing, which is hilarious coming from a literal princess who lives in a castle. It doubly pisses me off because Disney nailed the character more accurately with Giselle in 2007's Enchanted, so there really was no excuse here. Then we have the issue of Snow White being both a girl boss but also incredibly stupid. Unlike in the original film, the evil queen makes a point in this movie to show her magical skills from the jump, which completely undercuts the idea that Snow would be fooled into eating an apple knowing full well that the queen is coming after her, especially since the character has lost her sweetness and innocence. Snow's motivation is all wrong throughout, and I don't even want to get into the not a Prince Charming character of Flynn Rider, Bandit Johnny, who needs to be saved before he can be heroic, because that character is a hot mess who didn't need to be downgraded. Fundamentally, this movie fails for me because Snow White was pure of heart. She wasn't snarky or bitchy. She wouldn't have a witty comeback to put somebody in their place. She was just a sweet person who wanted to love and to be loved in return. And god damn it, there's nothing wrong with that. But no, can't have that in present year. So this movie worked overtime to betray the very essence of what made her the fairest of the land. And no, it wasn't some bullshit allusion to a weird form of feudal communism. Beyond all of that, I hated the music. I'm really tired of musicals that sound like modern pop Broadway plays, with songs being belted out like they're on a stage aiming for a Tony Award with choreography to match. Whistle While You Work was made worse by adding unnecessary things to it. Hi-ho had the same problems. I'm Wishing is completely eviscerated because you can't wish for love even if you end up needing true love's kiss. So instead we get Waiting on a Wish that should have been sung by Rapunzel. And Princess Problems made me want to vomit a little in my mouth because Snow White shouldn't be singing a song that belongs on Disney Channel's The Descendants. Then again, this movie is of the caliber and quality of what I used to expect from straight-to-VHS Disney pap, so maybe that song was fitting if we ignore the budget, time, resources, and theatrical release this movie received. I could go on and on and on, but frankly, I've already given this film more of my time than it's worth. I'll actually say that I hated it more than the last movie I reviewed, The Monkey, because that was a throwaway short story by Stephen King made into a throwaway movie that will be forgotten in a few weeks, whereas Snow White has been treated with the reverence it deserved for damn near a century by the same company that has now sullied its good name, and I find that to be nothing but insulting to all involved. So all in all, I hated it, and it gets 1 star. Cheers.